Well, good morning, everybody. It's the start of another week. Hope you're looking forward to it. Also, hope you had a wonderful weekend. For our devotion today, we are in Genesis chapter 21. So open your Bible there. Let me just encourage you to be praying. Remember, our theme focus this year here at First Baptist is praying for the harvest starts with me. We're praying that God will move us to be workers in the field. So pray for yourself that you will be a worker in the field. And practically speaking, we ask everyone to pray 3 prayers. So start your day praying for God to give you an opportunity to have a conversation with someone today, to invite them to church or to share the gospel with them, to share your testimony with them. Pray for God to give you boldness and courage today when you see the opportunity to speak, and then pray for some people by name who are not walking with Jesus right now. People who are lost and don't know the Lord, pray for them by name. That's part of praying for the harvest as Jesus commanded us to do. Well, Genesis 21, a lot happens in this chapter. Isaac is born. Sarah and Abraham finally have that child through whom God will build the nation of Israel and send the Messiah, Isaac. Hagar and Ishmael, the son that Abraham had by Hagar, Sarah's maid or slave, are forced to leave. And God protects them as they are forced out. And then Abraham, near the end of the chapter, Abraham and Abimelech sign a peace treaty, I guess we would call it today. So all of that is in this chapter. Now, what spoke to me are 2 verses. One is verse 11. Where it says, the matter distressed Abraham greatly because of his son. This is when he was being pushed by Sarah, and then God said, it's okay, go ahead and do it, to send Hagar, Sarah's maid, and Ishmael, Abraham's son by Hagar, to send them away out into the mountains, out in the desert, where on their own. Of course, we know from the story God protects them, but Abraham struggled with that. It says he was distressed. He did not want to do that. And that is when God reassured him that they would be okay, that God would take care of them. But he was distressed. Why? Because even though he had a biological son by his wife, Sarah, this is still his son. And over the years, he had grown attached to Ishmael. I think we could reasonably say that he loved Ishmael. And so this distressed him. It bothered him. And what I thought about was, all those years before, if Abraham had just trusted God and been patient and waited, instead of listening to the advice of his wife, Sarah, who was impatient, and therefore having this child with Hagar, he would not be faced with this current situation of distress and grief. The truth is, impatience can lead us to make decisions in the moment that down the road creates grief. It just does. That's why faith is so important in the various moments of life. A lot of times our grief or distress today is because of decisions we made in the past. It's equally true that much of our joy today is because of decisions we made in the past. Now think about this. Decisions we make today can result in grief down the road, or if we make different decisions, can result in joy down the road. So not making emotional decisions, instead making wise decisions, faith-based decisions, really, really important. One more verse that spoke to me briefly is verse 5. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born. Now, the reason that spoke to me is I remembered back in Genesis 12 that Abraham was 75 years old when God first told him he was going to have a son, an heir through whom God would bless the world. It took 25 years for it to happen. That's one of the reasons that, during that long 25-year period, Sarah became impatient and Abraham was easily influenced by her. It's not easy to wait on God. And yet waiting on God is always the wiser choice, the better choice, the faith choice. and waiting, being faithful for the long haul, creates less problems. And when you get to the end of your journey, you got less to have regrets about. So if you're in the midst of a journey and it's lasting longer than you want or expected, just keep trusting, keep believing. Don't become impatient, or you may make a decision like Abraham and Sarah did that ends up down the road causing you distress, like Abraham felt when he had to send Ishmael, his son, away. So be patient, be patient, be patient. Have faith, have faith, have faith. And don't make emotional decisions. Don't be a person who is driven by emotional reactions. You'll end up having way too many regrets if you do it that way, instead of being patient and having faith and waiting on God. That's the word for today. I'll see you tomorrow as we look at Genesis chapter 22. God bless you, everybody.